Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to today's Wild Rift video. In this video, I'll be bringing you all the best bot lane tier list for patch 2.4. Now, there's quite a lot of changes in this tier list. This is probably the most difficult tier list that I've had to make. There's a lot of changes, especially to the AD carry tier list. There might be some surprises. But as always, it is my personal opinion. Some people might have different opinions depending on how much they play a champion, how much they enjoy a champion. But I've pretty much practiced with every single champion and played every single champion this patch. And this is what I believe is the best tier list. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below what your thoughts are of this tier list. But anyway, enough of me chit-chatting. Let's head straight into it. A lot of S+ tier champions, and a lot of these champions are very, very strong. First one, Kai'Sa. No surprise here. Kai'Sa hasn't really changed much. You saw in a YouTube video yesterday, there is a slight build change to Kai'Sa. You go for the Solari Charge Blade, so you go for Stinger. Now after Blade the Rune King to get that E upgrade. But she hasn't changed at all. She's still really, really strong. Still really powerful. Her laning phase is still a little bit of a struggle, but if you can scale well into the late game with them items, then you'll be really, really strong. Lucian has shot up the tier list. Lucian with the new items is absolutely insane, especially mid lane as well. He's probably better mid laner than ADC, but I still believe he is a really, really high tier ADC pick. Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, Raider's Grudge, new Solari Charge Blade item all work really, really well with Lucian. And the same with Xayah as well, really. It's Xayah, new items, really, really strong. Essence Reaver, I've been testing out the Nervori Quick Blades. It is pretty decent, to be fair. You got Infinity Edge, you got Solari Charge Blade again as well. All of these give ability haste, which work really, really well with Xayah. And that's why she is S+ tier. And some of you might be surprised, but Corki is up here as well. Now, why is Corki up here? Corki is absolutely insane. This champion with the new items, all you have to do is go full crit Corki now. Now, there's a lot of people telling me, I was playing the game on stream yesterday that you're going to be seeing on tomorrow's YouTube video. But a lot of people were saying you run out of mana really quickly. What are you doing? Blah, blah, all this sort of stuff because there's no mana immune in the build anymore. But that's because you don't really need to rely on your spells anymore. This is what happens when sometimes builds change or items come in. The champion itself adapts, and you have to adapt to the way the champion plays. So now with Corki, you go for full crit Corki. So you don't actually need to rely on your skills anymore, like Trinity Force and Manamune from before. Now you're relying mainly on your auto attacks and just doing a lot of critical damage. And as mentioned, you'll be seeing the build and everything in tomorrow's video. Moving on down, we have Draven. Now, don't get me wrong, Draven is really, really strong right now. But the reason why he's not in S+ tier is because he's still really, really hard to play. He has one of the most difficult mechanics in the game with the catching axes. But if you can master that and if you can do really, really well with the catching axes, honestly, Draven is probably the best AD carry right now. With all the new items, you got Essence Reaver, you got Bloodthirster has changed now. It gives less AD, but it gives him crit. You can get 100% crit chance really, really fast. He has a lot of survivability. And yeah, he's just a really, really strong champion overall. But like I said, you have to learn about catching axes and everything, which can be quite difficult to do. Ezreal, again, a very, very strong AD carry. Again, could probably move up into the S+ tier. But the reason why Ezreal was down in S tier is because he doesn't really have a lot of solo carry potential compared to the ones that are above. Ezreal's a bit of a safe poking AD carry and has a completely different playstyle to all the AD carries pretty much above. You have to play it completely differently. You have to kind of use your spells and sit back and kind of relax with Ezreal. You can't really dash in or go forward and auto attack a lot to deal a lot of damage. You have to kind of be patient. You have to wait for the right opportunity, then to dash in, use your abilities, or try and poke from range to do quite a lot of damage. Now, obviously, this could be a downside, but it also could be a plus side to some people. So some people might feel like he's still S+ tier, but for me, he's still S. But in my opinion, all these S tiers and S+ tiers, anyone above really S, could be moved around a lot. Like, all these 6 champions are really, really strong. I was really tempted to do this, to be honest. Like, no S tier and everyone else is S+ tier, because these 6 champions at the moment are just the most powerful in the game for sure. But like I said, the reason I moved Draven down is because he's just not as easy as the other champions. And Ezreal, like I say, he just doesn't have that big solo carry potential. Next champion, Vayne. Now, Vayne, again, is super, super strong. If you pair Vayne with Lulu, oh my, this combo is absolutely insane. I got destroyed by it yesterday on the stream. And honestly, Vayne could move up into the S tier, but again, Vayne has one big, massive downside, is that her early game is really, really hard. Against all the AD carries above, Vayne can really get punished in the laning phase. And if you know how to play against Vayne in the laning phase, and if you can punish her moving up for CS, or if you can play aggressive and try and get a few early kills on Vayne, she takes a long time to scale up into the mid and late game. But if Vayne gets a few early kills, 2 or 3 early kills, gets that Blade Rune King online straight away, she can become a really big powerhouse. But honestly, she could move up into the S tier, but I still think Draven and Ezreal are just a little bit above Vayne, just because of how much better and how much easier their early game is. Jinx has moved down the tier list ever so slightly, not too much. Jinx at the moment doesn't really benefit from any of the new items. Obviously, most of the new items are really, really strong right now. Jinx's build is kind of very much the same. Infinity Edge, Runa's Hurricane, Rapid Fire Cannon. You want to go for the full crit, but there's not really any items that really, benefit from any of the new items, that she really benefits from. Solari Charge Blade could be okay, but you're not really using spells a lot. You've got Essence Reaver, which she doesn't really benefit from. Quick Blades, again, you don't really need CDR. So she doesn't really use any of the new items a lot, really, to be fair. And that's why she's kind of moved down the tier list, because these new items are just really, really strong right now. And Jinx, obviously, Jinx with Lulu obviously can move up to like SS plus tier, but kind of similar to Vayne, where Jinx kind of struggles in the laning phase a little bit. She can use her rockets from range, but she does kind of struggle. But yeah, they're both pretty much sitting in the A tier. They're both still really, really good, don't get me wrong. You can still carry with both of them, but it's just a little bit more difficult than the S and the S plus tier. Varus again has moved down a little bit with Jinx as well. Again, Varus doesn't really benefit from any of the new items. You still go for the full lethality Varus build. Nothing's really changed with that build. It's just that now it's kind of difficult to try and carry, in my opinion, with Varus. You do have the Serrader's Grudge, which is quite good for utility. You do have all the slows as well. With Ezreal as well, you also have all the slows with Ezreal. But Varus, like I said, it's just, I don't know, this champion is just really, really hard. I don't know, if you get like a 5-man ultimate with Varus, it could be really, really good. You can play very safe in laning phase as well. Honestly, you could probably still carry with Varus, but he's just, like I said, a bit more difficult than the ones above. Again, kind of the way I work out this tier list is like, if I put a champion in a tier list, I make sure, are they worse than the champions above and better than the champions below, that sort of thing. But Varus is still relatively strong, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't benefit from the new items, and you go full lethality, and it's okay, but it's not obviously the best scenario. Tristana now, Tristana honestly can move down to B tier. It's quite hard. I want to make a rank in between, if that makes sense, or like a tier in between. Like honestly, Tristana sits about here, like between A and B. She is not as strong as the champions above, Vayne, Jinx, and Varus, but she is a lot stronger than the champions below, Trin, not Seraphine, Senna, and Miss Fortune. So Tristana sits about in the middle, to be fair. But she does quite well with the new item Stormrazor. She does fairly well. You just go for like Infinity Edge into Stormrazor. You can do a lot of attack damage. Obviously, Stormrazor gives you a bit of attack speed as well, and you're getting that long range slow from Stormrazor as well. And then from then, you just go for more crit items. Can be really, really strong. But again, Tristana is very, very hard to play with her bomb situation. And yeah, she's just one of them champions that, again, just quite hard to play. But again, you can carry with Tristana. Like I said, most of these champions you can carry with, to be honest, except for maybe anyone being below, like all these 4 champions you just can't carry with at all. Like all these champions are completely useless. But A and above, like anyone could carry with these champions, to be fair. It's quite decent. Jhin, this champion. Oh, this champion. It feels so bad putting Jhin in B tier, but I don't know. This champion, like, I tested out a few games yesterday, and he just, I don't know. It's just very hard for Jhin at the moment. Again, he benefits a bit from the Stormrazor. Again, getting them slows off, which is quite good, landing his force shot and his root as well, and his ultimate. But he just doesn't have the damage output at the moment, unfortunately. He just gets absolutely destroyed by, you know, these big beefy frontliners, Renekton, Garen, all these champions that can just jump onto you. It's really, really hard because Jin doesn't have any mobility. He can't really stun or root. Well, he can root with his W, but it doesn't really do that much. He doesn't really have enough DPS as well to be able to one-shot the tank, the beefy frontliners. And yeah, I don't know. It's so sad to put Jin down here, but yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, Senna. Now, I'm going to make this fully clear with Senna. This is not fasting Senna. This is just classic AD carry Senna. If it was fasting Senna, she'd probably move up into A tier, to be honest. I don't think it's S tier. I don't think she's as good as Draven Ezreal. If people don't know what fasting Senna is, it's basically where you don't take any farm, but you're still playing kind of an AD carry role. And you kind of use that advantage of not farming at all to collect souls by poking down the enemies, by collecting souls. Because obviously you have more of a percentage of souls dropping from minions if you don't last hit them. Yeah, as classic AD Senna, she's terrible. You don't want to farm with Senna. You want to play fasting Senna with, like, you know, a decent tank support. Garen, Galio is probably the best example out of all of them. Yeah, overall, Senna as a classic AD carry is pretty bad. Miss Fortune. Now, Miss Fortune's a bit of a tough one for me. I tested out a bit of Miss Fortune, and she does do quite a bit of damage. But again, she kind of has the same problem as Jin. She doesn't have any mobility. It's really easy to cancel her ultimate as well. There's been numerous amount of occasions where I've used my ultimate. It's just been cancelled straight away because the enemy team has like a Gragas or a Yasuo Tornado or Irelia E or a Kali jumping on me and I have to cancel it. It's just really hard to play Miss Fortune because she's very, very immobile. But she can be very aggressive in laning phase. She can do a lot of damage in laning phase with her double up. And she does benefit quite a lot from the new items. Essence Reaver is really good on her. Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster. You go for Grudge if you want to as well for more slows. Yeah, she does okay with new items. But again, she's just very immobile and she's not very easy to carry with. And then Ashe, yeah, Ashe is Ashe. Ashe is just terrible. There's nothing really else to say with Ashe, to be honest. This champion is just hot garbage. If there was an F tier, she probably doesn't even deserve to be on the tier list. There you go. She just off the tier list now. But yeah, this champion just doesn't do anything. Unfortunately, she doesn't really do anything. She kind of benefits from the items a little bit. I can see Charge Blade maybe working, but I don't know. More of a utility, obviously AD carry. She doesn't really have a lot of solo carry potential. But yeah, she just hot garbage, basically. Hot garbage. Now, moving into support tier list. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There you go. Support tier. Now, again, this was really, really, really difficult. Anyone above A tier, except for these two champions, Blitzcrank and Soraka, which are both hot garbage. Anyone A and above could honestly switch around, like, constantly throughout the whole patch, to be honest, because all these champions above are really, really strong. Senna as a support still really, really strong. Obviously Frozen Mallet got removed, but obviously people are now building Iceborne Gauntlet, which is very, very popular item on PC League, and it still works really well with her kit. She still applies a lot of slows. She still gets very, very tanky if you go Grasping Undying, and she can still get quite a few other items as well. Black Cleaver, Rapid Fire Cannon, and yeah, she just has a lot of items that benefit her in the support role. And she's very good at obviously keeping your team alive from shielding, healing, rooting, turning invisible, and everything like that as well. Janet, again, still very, very good. She's just really the best peeling support right now. Tornado, her ultimate, that can push people away. You have the slow, her W, which can be really, really powerful during laning phase. And she has a huge, massive shield as well. Yeah, she's still really, really strong. All the Ardent supports at the moment are still really, really strong because of the Staff of the Flowing Water item. And that's where Nami really benefits from as well, is the Staff of the Flowing Water. Honestly, Nami could move up into S+ tier, but Nami is quite strong at the moment. The reason why Nami is so strong is she works really, really well with all the other AD carries. Move back into AD carry tier list. Nami works really well with Kai'Sa, with Lucian, with Xayah. Probably not as good with Corki, but Draven works really well. Vayne, Jinx. Nami just works really, really well with supports, with AD carries, sorry. I just want to auto attack fast. I want to be aggressive in lane. And yeah, she's just really, really strong. And obviously, you have the huge, massive ultimate as well that could be game changing. You have your bubble as well during laning phase. You have a lot of healing. And yeah, she's just really, really nice and really, really strong. Leona, still a really aggressive support that can play really, really well into the whole, pretty much whole game, to be fair. She has been getting buff after buff after buff, and she is pretty strong right now. The only problem with Leona is that she's very single target focused. She's not really... She's okay into team fights if you can get like a multi-root off on your ultimate, on multi-stun off on your ultimate. If you can play very aggressive during laning phase as well, it can be very, very helpful. She is good against these Ardent supports because she wants to play very aggressive. But yeah, she's still really, really strong. You could definitely carry a lot more now with Leona. You can definitely catch out people a lot more because her range on her third ability is pretty long now, to be fair. It actually surprised me quite a few times when Leona's on my team actually were able to root people or stun people with her third ability because she has quite a lot of range. Brom's still a very, very good support. Very, very good at peeling as well. The same with Janna and Nami. Very, very good. Has a shield. Has his ultimate, which is really good. His passive works really, really well with Lucian. And again, with all the other AD carries as well that I just mentioned with Nami. Brom works really, really well. He kind of struggles against all these Ardent supports because he is melee. He doesn't really have a lot of ways of engaging onto the Ardent supports. Unlike Leona or Alistar that can easily engage. But Bromwich could just play very, very safe, and he's just so, so strong in team fights. Being able to get their concussive blows and being able to peel for your AD carry. Or even jumping onto the front line as well, getting that big, massive ultimate off to catch out the enemy is just still really, really strong. But like I said, you might have to play a little bit safe in the laning phase unless you have an AD carry with you that can play aggressive with you if you land your concussive blows. Lux, I still feel like she's really, really strong. The problem is with Lux is that people... Oh, it's so frustrating. Every time I get a Lux support, they always build full AP. And it just frustrates me. Like, I don't know. Like... If you do play Lux support, please just build her support. Please just build support items because she is still a really, really strong support. Not Ardent Sensor, sorry. Harmonic Echo is really, really strong. Staff of the Flowing Water can be really, really strong as well. Ardent Sensor as well. Like, all these items are so, so strong. Maybe you might need, like, a tier in there or something like that just to make sure that she doesn't run out of any mana. But after tier, you can go for all these support items. I just see Lux's go Luden's Echo, Death Cap. It's just like, no, that's not the way you play Lux support. Honestly, if that's the way you play Lux support, yeah, she's A tier for sure. But like, if you actually build her with support items, she is still really, really strong. And she does still do a lot of damage as well. Like, you don't need to build her full AP for her to do a lot of damage. You can do a lot of damage even with support items as well. But yeah, bit of a tough story there. But yeah, there you go. Please build her as a support, not as a full AP mage. Rakan as well, still very, very strong, very, very good engage support. Works really, really well with Xayah. Obviously, if you got Xayah and Rakan on your team, definitely S+ tier. But Rakan by himself is still really, really strong. Can get a huge, massive ultimate off in a team fight and can play really, really aggressive in the laning phase. But again, still really, really strong. Lulu as well, paired with some of the AD carries. Again, as mentioned before with Vayne. Vayne Lulu, Jinx Lulu, even like Lucian Lulu, Xayah Lulu, like anyone could really benefit a lot. And again, it's another Ardent support that benefits a lot from all the items. Ardent Sensor, Staff of the Flowing Water, Harmonic Echo, and just all these items in general are just really, really strong for supports. Just to mention that these champions are not in any order, like from left to right. They're not in any order like other people do tier lists. The same with AD carry as well. These are not in any particular order. It's just where I put them on the tier list, basically. Moving on, Alistar, A tier, still very strong support. It kind of does struggle again against these Ardent supports, and you do need to have a bit of synergy with your team for Alistar to be able to work, because sometimes you can go in as Alistar and your whole team just leaves you there, basically, and just lets you die. But again, a very aggressive support that can work well into all these Ardent supports. And could definitely be very, very tanky. But the problem is that a lot of his tank items did get nerfed. Dead Man's Plate got nerfed, and all these other items did get nerfed. So he's not as tanky as he was before, when he was like really the best support in like the whole game. But he's still really, really strong. You can still carry with him. But yeah, he's just not as good as before. Seraphine, again, please don't build this champion AP if you're going to support. Again, she benefits so much from Ardent Sensor, Harmonic Echo, Staff of Flowing Water, getting that AoE shielding off with your second ability, and being able to proc Staff of Flowing Water and Ardent Sensor on every single champion on your team is so, so strong. Again, you just need to make sure that you just build Seraphine properly and she will do good. Again, Seraphine support, you don't need damage. Your main purpose is to use your ultimate for the rest of your team to do damage. That's what supports are there for. Again, you can build her AP if you want to, but she won't be as good as what she is when building support items. But yeah, that's a story for another day, I guess, because I keep saying the same thing with Seraphine and Lux. Yeah, I've had countless amount of games where people are just building full AP and trying to carry themselves with support because they don't trust the rest of your team. But sometimes you got to trust the rest of your team. And to be honest, it's actually probably better building her support as well. Sona's a bit of a difficult one. If she can go into the mid and the late game, she can be one of the strongest, if not the strongest support in the whole game. It's just getting to that point is very, very difficult. Her laning phase is very, very hard, I should say, because she does run out of mana very, very quickly, and she is quite annoying to kind of play as well because you run out of mana so quickly. You have to make sure you use your abilities at the right times, and you make sure that you land your abilities or you use your heal effectively, or you're just going to be spamming abilities and you're going to be running out of mana in the first like 2 minutes of the game. Yeah, just make sure you play safe in lane, you use your abilities well, and obviously you get the Ceres Embrace as soon as possible. And then after that, again, Staff of Flame Water, Harmonic Echo, all these items just really, really strong. Galio is still a relatively good support as well, just not as strong as the ones above. He does very well, again, at peeling for your AD carry and does very well in terms of being aggressive. Again, you can build in full tank, you can build in full AP. To be honest, Galio full AP is probably better at saying this as a tank Galio because the tank items did get nerfed, but it's better to go tank because you're going to have damage from the rest of your team, and your main goal obviously as a support is to peel for your AD carry, but you can go for full AP as well if you want to, but most of the time you just want to go tank and you just want to be that big beefy front line and kind of pull for your AD carry. Just make sure you alter your AD carry pretty much every single time, unless you can get a huge engage off with like a Wukong or a Yasuo or someone like that. And then these last two champions, Soraka and Blitzcrank, there's not really much to say about these two. Soraka's just a heal bot. Healing reduction is so cheap on the game. You have Oblivion Orb, you have Executioner's Calling, and it just cancels out everything that Soraka does, and Soraka doesn't really have anything else in this game. And this champion is just the worst champion in the whole game. Like, I'm gonna say that now. Blitzcrank just doesn't do anything. Every time I get a Blitzcrank on my team, he misses about 20 million hooks and hits about one on a tank and pulls a tank into melee range of me, and I'm just dead. It's like, if you want to play Blitzcrank, at least know how to play Blitzcrank, please. Like, come on. Like, it's just, I don't know. This champion is just terrible. Never picked this champion ever. And yeah, a bit similar to Ashe. Never picked Ashe. Never picked Blitzcrank. And yeah, that's pretty much it, to be fair. But yeah, that's my tier list. Bit of ranting there, but we take those on the chin and we move on. But yeah, that was my tier list. Hopefully you all enjoyed this tier list rundown. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys all, as always, for the support that you all give me. And yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed this tier list. Like I said, there are a lot of champions here that can carry that I've put them below where they should be. But that's just, again, it's just my opinion of what I feel like is really, really strong. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of the day. And I'll see you on stream later. Peace out.